animated solo leveling in 1 hour.
Lee, what the heck is that?
Versus 100 hours. This challenge turned out to be way more intense than I thought, and it pushed me to my very limits. But before we get to the final animation, it is time to test myself and animate solo leveling in just 1 hour. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes creating your own website incredibly simple. But more on them later. First off, to make things a little more interesting, I asked my Pookie Bear Deluxe 3000 Panthers to draw me a little sketch of a solo leveling scene, and I made it very clear to him that he could make whatever he wants. And this is what he cooked up. Cool! So guys, I have no plan, nothing. It was time to go in raw with no plan at all to do justice to Panther's little sketch.
So, how do we start this? Let's just have these motherfuckers staring at each other. Oh my goodness.
All I knew going into this is that I couldn't spend any time on any details, and everything had to be done on the first try because there is no time to fix anything.
Oh my gosh. Let's have this big ass bird here staring at each other. God, this doesn't make any sense. He looks so close. Guys, I don't even think I have enough time to animate anything here. Fuck it, let's go to the next cut already. We're actually speeding through this. We're locked in. I don't give a fuck. We're locked in.
Or so I thought, because this level of confidence did not last very long.
It might be over, chat. It might actually be so over. Maybe we could do like a little close-up of the bird. Oh my God, I spit on my screen. My PC is actually on fire. I hear it so loudly. He looks so goofy. He looks so stupid. Actually, let's make him blink, actually. Let's make him blink. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw the eye on a new layer. I'm dying. Oh, I'm actually speeding through this. I am actually speeding through this. Oh, yeah. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. How about we have Sung Jin Woo staring back now? How about that? This motherfucker got a pointy ass chin. I don't even know what's going on anymore, guys. Give him that pointy ass chin tie shit. Oh man, this drawing is awful. Oh my God. This is perfect. This is literally perfect. You know, let's make him blink too, bro. Let's make him blink. Oh my God, this is great. This is great. Hey, I still have a lot of time left. You know what? Hey, you do like a little hair waving animation and shit. I'm feeling ballsy. Wow, that's actually awful. That's gonna work though. Okay, now let's have the bird attack him, and then he's gonna like fuck him in the ass after. What a cutie patootie. Look at him. What happened, dog? Looks like a horse now. My shoulder hurts, god damn it. Oh no. What the heck happened? It might be over, chat. It might actually be so over. Oh my God. Let me give you guys an impact frame. Let's give y'all one. He's about to fuck shit up. The budget is dropping quickly. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Okay, that's kind of fire. That's like kind of fire. It's kind of fire. Now let's do like a little cut of this motherfucker jumping up and killing the bird. We'll have one more after this one, and that's it. Because I don't have enough time. How am I supposed to make him jump from here? Am I stupid? Oh my God, I only have 30 minutes left, guys. I'm gonna smear this way out of here. Holy moly, guacamole, what the heck is that?
I then quickly, without wasting any time, went on to the last cut, which is Sung Jin Woo killing the bird.
I look at be having no idea what I'm doing. I'm actually just like drawing lines, and whatever happens at this point just happens. You know what I mean? This motherfucker died. He's so dead. This is so goofy. This is actually like beyond goofy. Blood everywhere.
After animating everything, I attempted to do the line art for every cut, and I managed to do some of it, but I wasn't able to do every single one.
This is so bad.
I then attempted to do the coloring for some of the cuts, but with the time running out, I decided that it would be best to just export everything and drag everything into After Effects to put all of it together and wrap up this 1 hour project.
Wow. This is crazy.
Now let's get Panther's reaction.
You know what? Is it crazy to say that I actually like that? Like, it looks cartoony as shit, especially with the zoom out. I actually like that. Oh my God, I just found the... Yo, this is actually so good.
Yo, why are we going frame by frame? So how did I do compared to your sketch?
You devoured. I like how there's like a fucking single, just like I don't know, like a sequence in there of just him, just straight like fucking stone face emoji, just straight that, and then he just cuts back to whatever that was.
Yeah, clearly that did not go very well. Some things simply cannot be rushed, and animation has to be on top of that list. But what happens if I have 100 hours instead of 1 hour? Even though this seems like a lot of time, it's still only just 4 days. Far less time than you would probably want in order to make a good sequence of animation. But I put myself to the test and gave it a shot to see if I can make something that is watchable. This was a pretty stressful process, so stay tuned for that and the final animation at the end of this video. With that being said, the clock is now ticking, which means it's time to lock in. Since I now have more time, before I could start animating, I decided that it would be best to plan absolutely everything out. I first gathered up some references of Sung Jin-woo to assist me in drawing him accurately to the anime. Then after I gathered everything up, I hopped straight into storyboarding the animation. Storyboarding this well is crucial because it lets me map out the entire sequence before doing the actual animation. Without it, I'd just be making shit up as I go, just like in the 1-hour animation, which would hinder my ability to make something that is seamless. After sketching out different ideas, I ended up breaking the animation down into 7 cuts to be able to properly get my vision out there and also do justice to Panther's little sketch. First, the sequence starts with Sung Jin-woo and the bird locked in a stare down, building up tension. Then the bird closes his eyes and exhales. Then we can see Sung Jin-woo looking determined with the wind blowing on him. The fight begins as the bird charges up and attacks, but this man has really trash aim, so it completely misses Sung Jin-woo. In response, he jumps straight at the bird. Then the next shot zooms into the bird's face as he realizes that he's about to get packed up, leading into the final slow motion shot of Sung Jin-woo delivering the finishing blow. Now that the sequence is totally planned out, it was time to bring it to life. Cut 1 features a stare down between Sung Jin-woo and the bird. For the first couple of cuts, I wanted to establish tension. In this case, I wanted like a little stare down with like the wind blowing and stuff. So this was a simple 3-frame loop, which I thought was gonna be pretty easy. I started by sketching out the key poses, and since I don't want to sit there redrawing the same frame over and over for no reason, I separated all the non-moving parts into a separate layer so that I wouldn't have to redraw everything over and over again. This saved me a ton of time and kept everything looking consistent. After looping this, the movement looked solid, and even though this cut was pretty simple, it got the job done. So I quickly moved on to cut 2 to keep the tension going. But before we get into that, let me show you how incredibly easy it was to build my own website using this video's sponsor, Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes setting up your online presence super simple. I started by using Squarespace's Blueprint AI, which basically creates a website for you in just a few clicks. All I had to do was answer a few questions about my style, and it instantly generated a clean, professional layout. From there, I customized everything using their award-winning templates. I picked a portfolio layout that fit my style, swapped out images, tweaked the design, and boom, I had a fully personalized site without writing a single line of code. My favorite part is that Squarespace's built-in tools make it more than just a website. Whether you want to sell products or grow your audience with email campaigns, everything you need is already built in, ready to go. So if you've been thinking about setting up a portfolio, blog, or online store, now's the time to do it. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use squarespace.com/Bunaye to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now, back to cut 2. My idea with this one is that I want the viewers to feel like this bird isn't playing around and that he's about to attack. And you know, make him feel like a real threat. So I want him to slowly close his eyes and then let out a nice exhale. So I started animating the eyelids shutting, but I faced a little problem. I wanted it to feel natural and slow, so I added a couple more in-betweens to make the closure smoother, which ended up making it look a lot nicer. Then came the exhale. I animated mist coming out of the bird's nostrils as he breathed out, which was pretty straightforward. I wanted to make sure that towards the end, it was a little slower because sort of like when the animation is fast and it ends slow, it sort of makes it look nicer in my opinion, and I think I was able to do a pretty good job when it came to this. And now it's time for the final cut of day 1. Cut 3 features Sung Jin-woo looking determined at the camera with the wind blowing on him. Unlike the 3-frame loop for cut 1 that I did, I wanted to increase the smoothness here with a 4-frame loop. I kept on looking at the character sheet for reference, and I was able to appreciate Solo Leveling's art style. One thing I noticed was that his nose is literally just one line drawn down, which I like because it was easy to draw, I'm not gonna lie. But after finishing the loop and refining the movement, I think this cut came out really beautiful. The small details in the hair and hoodie motion made it feel really alive, and it gave the perfect calm before the storm vibe. And just like that, day 1 was finished. Now that all the cuts that were building up tension are done, it's time to get into the action. In cut 4, for example, the bird is gonna charge up and hit Sung Jin-woo with a massive attack. For this cut, I started with the bird's basic movement just to set up the foundation for myself. Then I jumped straight into the key poses, which I mostly pulled straight from the storyboard, adding a few subtle movements to make it feel less stiff. But man, figuring out the in-betweens was an absolute f***ing nightmare. It took way longer than I expected, and it was extremely frustrating trying to make everything feel natural. When the bird finally attacked, I wanted to sell the impact, so I animated dust and rocks flying everywhere to give it that extra oomph. Overall, this cut was relatively straightforward, but somehow it ended up taking a lot more time than it should have. But at least it came out solid in the end. Time to move on to the next cut. In cut 5, we can see that the bird's attacks totally missed, so Sung Jin-woo gets ready to strike back. I started by animating him getting ready for the jump, making sure to get the key poses right. And right before takeoff, I threw in an impact frame to really sell the force behind it. When he actually jumped, I added a ton of dust, not just at the moment of liftoff, but also lingering afterward to emphasize emphasize just how powerful the launch was. In the background, I animated a single explosion to show the attacks of the bird. Then during compositing, I duplicated it and added another one to make the shot feel even more intense. And I think I did a good job overall. This cut was all about setting up Sung Jin-woo's counterattack, making sure it had the impact it deserved. Cut 6 features a zoom in on the bird's face before he gets packed the fuck up. At this point, I was extremely exhausted. I had been animating non-stop, my hand was hurting, my dick was hurting, and I wanted this to be done. But it's time to lock back in because this shot was extremely important. Because it's the last shot before the bird gets obliterated. The idea was very simple. It's gonna be like a camera dramatic zoom in on the bird's face, realizing that the attack that's coming to him is a very serious one. But because I was rushing, because I was feeling a little bit burnt out, and honestly very tired, the line art came out a lot messier than I wanted, so I had to make a very important decision. Do I spend the time I have left fixing it, or do I just leave it as it is? I just chose to leave it as is. The animation still looks solid, even if it was a little rough, and in the end, this cut still served its purpose. And right as I was about to work on the final cut, my computer completely shit itself. I kept on getting blue screen after blue screen, which completely destroyed any motivation I had left. I spent around 8 hours of my day trying to fix this issue with my computer, which I was able to eventually fix by lowering the voltage of my CPU and factory resetting my PC. This issue made me lose so much time while completely draining my soul in the process. I knocked the fuck out thinking about the amount of work I had to do in day 4 in an extremely short period of time. I knew that the next day was about to be hella stressful and that I was gonna have to lock in beyond belief. I woke up and quickly downloaded all the programs I needed to complete my animation. The clock was not waiting for me at all, so I had to lock in. Cut 7 features a slow-mo shot of the bird getting killed by Sung Jin-woo. My goal was just to take a very simple approach, so just drawing the first pose, drawing the last pose, and then filling in between. But that didn't go as planned. I just couldn't get the pose right. So I ended up using a 3D model to help me out, which honestly saved me a lot of frustration. I started by animating Sung Jin-woo first, making sure the anatomy wasn't total bullshit. Then I moved on to the bird, animating it getting torn apart in slow motion with blood spilling everywhere to really sell the moment. To push the intensity even further, I threw in a bunch of impact frames at the beginning of the cut, making the final hit feel as powerful as possible. And just like that, the animation portion is done. But with the deadline closing in, I completely forgot about the backgrounds. Realizing I didn't have time to draw a new one for every shot, I quickly made it in Blender to save time and keep things consistent. I threw in some pillars to make the scene feel less empty, and even though it's mid as hell, I think it's gonna get the job done. I then threw everything into After Effects, cleaning everything up and putting everything together. I threw in some fire to match Panthers' sketch. Then I changed the hue to blue just to make things more accurate to what he wanted. At this point, I was just hoping that it looked good enough. My eyes have been so glued to the screen that I can't even tell if it looks good or not anymore. But then finally, I dragged everything into the DaVinci Resolve to add color correction, some finishing touches, and quickly added the sound effects to wrap up the 100 hours. And just like that, after 100 hours of just straight torture and my PC trying to kill me, the animation was finally done. This challenge was way harder than I expected, even though this isn't my first time doing this. I always learn something new when I do these time challenges, and this time it was no different. Going from the 1 hour piece of shit animation to actually creating something I think is decent in 100 hours was insane. Sure, my PC dying was annoying, and redrawing the same pose over and over again, and forgetting to make the backgrounds made me want to do horrible things to myself. But in the end, all that matters is that I pushed through. So, make sure to like and subscribe and enjoy the 100-hour animation.
Holy fuck! Damn! I think you did justice to the Sigma shot, to the stone face Sigma shot.